Hello, my loves. In this video, I'm gonna cover the best practices to use with a pendulum, especially when starting out, how to connect with your spirit guides in order to get as accurate a reading as possible, how to get your baseline for yeses and nos with your pendulums. I'm gonna share with you two main reasons why people quit using the pendulum prematurely and what you can do about it. And I'm going to show you an easy game to test your accuracy as you go along using a pendulum. It's nice to know that it's working, right? And stay tuned, because at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you my favorite type of pendulums and why I like them so much. Just a little bit about me is that I'm a coach for women, and I have spent the past, since I was 13, working on my intuition. The type of work that I do, it's really important that I teach how to help clients deepen into their intuition and their ability to look deeper within their lives. Using a pendulum is a lot like muscle testing. It's being able to tune into your subconscious mind and be able to access details about what's going on in your body, what's going on in your life. We are so much more perceptive than we realize, and our bodies, our minds, our higher selves know a lot more than our conscious mind knows what's going on. And so that's how we can, it's a really fun way to tap into that knowledge and that wisdom going on already within us. So we live in a culture where it's very mind orientated. We live in our minds, and it's hard to get out of it sometimes. And in order to get in touch with our intuition, we need to step outside of our minds a bit and allow the wisdom to come through. So one way to get more accurate, stronger results through tuning into your intuition is doing a little simple meditation prior to using the pendulum. It could just be a 1 or 2 minute meditation. And what this will do is it will help you set up the environment through creating new neural pathways in your body-mind connection to get more accurate results with a pendulum. Spiritual guides help us to connect with our intuition and the truths we are consulting about. After you've centered yourself through meditation, it's time to call in your guides. Here's an example of how to do so. And I ask to call upon my higher self, my holy self, my highest frequency guides, my angels, Mary Magdalene, Yeshua, the goddess, God, all that is. I ask for guidance and to get out of my own way, for my own needs and wants, and to become an open vessel to receiving the information that is of my highest benefit and knowledge in moving forward. So you can do something like that, make it your own. You can think about what guides you want to call in prior to. And if you don't have guides, you can actually just call upon anything that you resonate with. It could be life itself, that which is keeping me alive, the life force within me. It could be your ancestors. It's just tuning into a spiritual reference. A higher spiritual guide is always very helpful. How to hold the pendulum. You can hold a pendulum in many ways, and my two favorite ways are just at the top, holding the ball, or having the ball just inside of your fingers. You can experiment to see which way works best for you. Something that's important to note as well is that in the beginning, the pendulum tends to be slow and little increments it moves. But as you get to know your pendulum, as you get to work with it, it'll become stronger. You want to get a baseline for any future questions. Now, many people have different ways of doing this. They enforce what a yes and no looks like, mentally enforce, and I just prefer to ask because once you've got it with one pendulum, it's going to be the same for the rest, and it's how your body's rigged up to express itself. Once you're nice and relaxed, you want to ask your pendulum, you hold your pendulum and ask it, show me a yes. And then just see what direction it goes in, whether it's circular or maybe back and forth. And then you want to ask, show me a no. Whatever your pendulum direction is, just take a note for what the yeses are and what the nos are. And you can actually step into asking that each time for a few times in the very beginning when you're starting to use pendulums, just to check in and get a baseline for yourself. 2 reasons why people give up using the pendulum and what you can do about it. When people first start using the pendulum, they may look at it intensely and try to make it move. At this point, we need to let go of trying to control it and come back to our breath and our bodies. So relax your breath and relax your body, because you're probably going to be tensed up and thinking too much. It's also helpful to take your gaze off of your pendulum and just kind of look forward into the distance and just ask for a yes or a no. So remember this when you're using the pendulum. If at any time it stops working, it stops moving, or you're feeling like somehow it's disconnected, just come back to your breath and your body, relaxing both. Another issue that people come across when using the pendulum is holding it as steady as possible, trying not to let it move at all. The bottom line is that the pendulum will move and your hand will move it. The trick is to let go of control of the outcome of whatever you're wanting the pendulum to say yes or no to the answer. Now, if you're feeling like you're influencing the answer of the pendulum or you're unsure about it, you can experiment with this by just feeling what it feels like to want to influence the pendulum. And then stop, recenter, relax your breath, relax your body, and then come back to asking the question again. And this time ask for the true answer, and set aside your feelings to see what that feels like. And the more you can kind of tune in and play with that, you can start to notice when you are wanting to influence an answer and when you're actually getting clearer results. And remember to have compassion for yourself as you're doing this, as you're practicing with the pendulum, because this is a new skill that you're developing. You're developing new pathways within your body of communication from your body and your mind and your subconscious. And so if you think of it like if you were learning to bike ride, or if you were learning to sing, or if you're learning any type of, like, even accounting, you don't know it right off the bat, right? Not many people do. And so it's a skill to develop. So what you can do is take it, get to know your pendulum, and treat it like a romance. Have it in your pocket, and pull it out once in a while where you feel safe. It's a sacred space. It's not too public at first, especially at first. You want to be as centered as possible. So using it around yourself or anyone else who believes that this is possible. Not everybody believes it's possible. So in order to create the safe space for you to play with this, it's important to look after that, create a boundary to work within. In order to see how accurate your answers are getting, you can play this pendulum game. Cut out 3 pieces of paper. Write 3 names on each of the papers, including your own name. Now mix them up and ask your pendulum which is your name. Remember, this isn't about being hard on yourself. It's just checking your accuracy. It's a safe environment to practice. And remember, if you're not getting the right answers, then remember to come back inside, relax your breath, body, and gaze, and begin again. I personally, I started with one pendulum and then I ended up with using, I have 5. I have one for my bedroom, I have one for my car, I have one for my purse, one for my office. I just put them in different places because I noticed that I'd have to go finding one whenever I wanted to know an answer, and I just decided to make it really easy for myself. So this brings me to what pendulums do I like working with and why? So over the years of using pendulums, I found that I got really frustrated with particular types of pendulums, actually all of them. And so I decided to make pendulums that would suit my needs. And one of the main problems I had with gemstone pendulums is that they would accumulate energy from the environment. And what happens is when people are healing or when they're using the pendulum, they can release energy, and the pendulum will actually, a gemstone will actually pick it up. After a period of time, that gemstone needs clearing down. You can tell when a semi-precious stone has picked up energy from others, and it's when you don't want to wear it. Say if it's a necklace or a bracelet, you just don't want to wear it anymore. It feels too heavy or something. And so basically it's the same with the pendulums. You don't want to pick them up. It's got too much energy to it. So I started to make pendulums out of wood, clay, recycled plastic, shells, or glass. They wouldn't pick up energy from me or from my clients, and so I barely have to clear them down. Energy neutral pendulum is fantastic for people who are new to using pendulums because it's one less thing to worry about. To check out my pendulums, you can just click on the link below this video to get to my Etsy shop. So click the like button if you like this video, then I'll know. And let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to do any other videos about pendulums. Okay, bye!